Big Bad Berlinetta's Internet Trailer Park, where the porch light never turns off. Are you tired of healthy boundaries, emotional stability, and peaceful evenings? Do you miss the magical feeling of hearing somebody scream at a live stream chat while chain smoking under a flickering porch light at 2:30 in the morning? Then brother, welcome to Big Bad Berlinetta's Internet Trailer Park, the internet's #1 destination for unresolved trauma, digital nicotine, gas station philosophy, and live streams that feel like probation meetings with Wi-Fi. At Big Bad Berlinetta's Internet Trailer Park, the content never stops. Because sleep is weakness, therapy is expensive, and oversharing is now considered a business model. Watch complete strangers named world-famous Chomo Charlie D, Hellbilly the Momo, and overweight hooker Becky G fight for 6 consecutive hours over absolutely nothing. It's not entertainment. It's anthropology. Experience 20-hour live streams, emotional support Marlboros, internet parking lot politics, and enough secondhand smoke to legally classify your phone as a Newport accessory. And don't forget, throw in a warning for mom. Berlinetta Plus. For only $4.99 a month, receive bonus arguments, extended paranoia, exclusive emotional breakdowns, and access to After Dark, where everybody's blood pressure reaches medically concerning levels. Warning. Side effects may include internet addiction, irrational confidence, yelling real recognizes real at strangers, and believing live stream moderators are federal agents. Do not operate heavy machinery while emotionally invested in trailer park live stream politics. Big Bad Berlinetta's Internet Trailer Park. Because somewhere along the line, America stopped building communities and started building live streams. Disclaimer. Before we begin today's episode of Analyzing Evil, I would first like to officially welcome all viewers currently watching this documentary from a folding chair on a porch, a garage filled with broken appliances, a smoke-stained living room with a television older than the Clinton administration, or a parked vehicle outside a Speedway gas station while arguing with strangers on Facebook Live. You are seen, you are heard, and frankly, you are probably part of the documentary at this point. Now then, today's episode is a commentary on internet culture, live stream addiction, online performance, emotional oversharing, digital voyeurism, and the horrifying realization that modern humanity has somehow transformed public psychological deterioration into a subscription-based business model. This documentary is satire, this documentary is criticism, this documentary is observational humor. This is not harassment, bullying, targeted abuse, or a federally recognized psychological intervention program for people who think live streaming from a nicotine cloud counts as content creation. If you are unable to handle sarcasm, parody, dark humor, internet commentary, or hearing somebody compare live stream culture to a digital trailer park built from Monster Energy cans and unresolved emotional trauma, this may not be the documentary for you. We recommend nature documentaries, bird watching, public radio, or staring silently into a lake until your blood pressure stabilizes. Furthermore, the opinions expressed in this documentary belong exclusively to the narrator, the writers, the algorithm, late-stage internet culture, and whatever cursed cosmic force allowed humanity to invent live stream super chats. Any resemblance between the behaviors discussed in this episode and actual online creators is purely coincidental. Although frankly, the internet has become such an aggressively bizarre psychological carnival that coincidence barely matters anymore. Now, A quick word to the comments section. No, this documentary is not saying trailer parks are evil. Some trailer parks got decent people, hard workers, families, veterans, and better barbecue than most five-star restaurants. The internet trailer park is a metaphor. A metaphor for the strange digital ecosystem where endless live streaming, emotional instability, online feuds, nicotine-fueled paranoia, performative outrage, audience-enabled self-destruction, and real recognizes real Facebook philosophy. All fused together into one giant glowing circus tent of algorithmic despair. And honestly, if that description makes you angry, there's a statistically concerning chance you might already live there emotionally. This episode also contains cigarette smoke, sarcasm, existential dread, faded Americana, internet anthropology, commentary on digital decay, and enough secondhand embarrassment to legally qualify as an OSHA violation. Viewer discretion is advised. Do not attempt to fight live stream moderators in real life. Scream, "They can't handle the truth" inside a Waffle House. Or begin a 4-hour internet rant after consuming gas station energy pills and 2 warm beers. The Pizzaverse Studios legal department would also like to remind everybody that being loud on the internet is not currently recognized as a martial art, military rank, or philosophical movement. And finally, to the people inevitably rage commenting before the documentary even premieres, thank you, because without outrage, modern internet culture would collapse faster than a live stream relationship built entirely on cigarettes, paranoia, and PayPal donations. Now sit back, relax, lower your blood pressure, medication dosage at your own risk, and welcome to the internet trailer park.
Analyzing evil. Big Bad Berlinetta, the internet trailer park. A Pizzaverse Studios documentary. A Palermo Productions original. Written by Bambi Palermo. Narrated by Vincent DiPrio. Edited in the middle of the night in the Tommy Stig social club with espresso and lots of cigarettes. The trailer park used to be a physical place. A forgotten corner of America, cracked pavement, satellite dishes held together with duct tape, cigarette smoke drifting through humid night air while somebody screamed through a screen door about unpaid rent and missing Percocets. But then the internet happened. And suddenly the trailer park didn't disappear. It uploaded itself. Now the porch lights are webcams, the folding chairs are live stream setups. The screaming fights became content. The emotional instability became branding, and the algorithm discovered something horrifying. Human collapse gets engagement. Welcome to the internet trailer park. And somewhere in the middle of this digital wasteland sits a creator known as Big Bad Berlinetta. A channel that feels less like entertainment and more like the final transmission recovered from a gas station security camera before society collapsed entirely. This isn't polished YouTube. This is live stream nicotine. This is internet asphalt. This is what happens when a webcam becomes cheaper than therapy. And today we're analyzing the whole damn thing. The live stream becomes the personality. There was a time when people logged onto the internet to create something. Comedy, music, films, stories, ideas. Now, some people just log in and slowly dissolve in public. That's the modern live stream economy. The content itself no longer matters. The personality no longer matters. Even talent stopped mattering years ago. What matters now is access. Constant access. The audience doesn't watch creators anymore. They monitor them like emotional zoo exhibits. Every breakdown becomes content. Every argument becomes engagement. Every humiliating moment becomes another clip channel upload titled, "You Won't Believe What Happened." And channels like Big Bad Berlinetta operate inside this ecosystem perfectly. Not because they're polished, not because they're informative, but because they feel dangerously real. The room's cluttered, the energy's hostile, the vibe feels like somebody's probation officer might arrive at any second. And the audience loves that feeling. Because modern internet culture has confused authenticity with self-destruction. If somebody looks exhausted enough, angry enough, unstable enough, the audience says, finally, somebody real. Meanwhile, the creator's entire life starts collapsing into a permanent performance. That's the trap. Eventually, the live stream stops being something you do. It becomes what you are. And once that happens, there's no logging off anymore. The digital porch light. Every old neighborhood had one house. You know the one. Porch light always on. People arguing outside at 1:37 a.m. in the morning. Somebody fixing a lawnmower that hasn't worked since the Clinton administration. A barking dog. A folding chair philosopher talking about how the government's afraid of him. That energy used to stay local. Now it streams globally. That's the genius and horror of the internet. It turned private dysfunction into spectator entertainment. And creators trapped in this lane start becoming characters inside their own never-ending reality show. The viewers stop asking, "Is this good content?" Instead, they ask, "What's gonna happen next?" Will there be a fight, a meltdown, a drunken rant, a feud, a public humiliation? The audience becomes emotionally invested in chaos itself. And Big Bad Berlinetta feels like the embodiment of that phenomenon. Not a traditional creator. Not really an entertainer. More like a live stream campfire where people gather to watch modern digital decay in real time. And the darker the atmosphere gets, the more addictive it becomes. Because the internet figured out something television never fully understood. People don't just enjoy drama anymore. They enjoy deterioration. When the webcam replaces real life. At some point, a lot of these creators stop living normal lives entirely. Everything becomes content. Arguments, relationships, paranoia, mental exhaustion, financial problems, public feuds. Nothing stays private because privacy doesn't generate super chats. And eventually, something disturbing starts happening. The audience begins rewarding instability. The angrier the creator gets, the more viewers show up. The more chaotic the stream becomes, the more clips get shared. The more unhealthy the environment feels, the more authentic people think it is. It creates a cycle where the creator can never calm down. Because peace is boring to the algorithm. Calm people don't trend. Healthy people don't generate reaction channels. And somewhere in that cycle, the actual human being disappears. What's left is just the performance. A permanent online identity built out of rage, exhaustion, nicotine, resentment, and live stream dependency. The webcam becomes the entire world. And the audience? They keep feeding quarters into the machine. Because modern internet culture doesn't know the difference between entertainment and emotional roadkill anymore. The chat room pecking order. Every trailer park got a social hierarchy. Don't matter if it's physical or digital, there's always the loudmouth, the fake alpha, the gossip, the neighborhood conspiracy theorist, the emotionally unstable wild card everybody secretly encourages, and the one person who somehow treats live stream moderation like a constitutional rights violation. The live stream chat became the new front porch of America, and once that happened, everything changed. Because unlike real life, the internet never closes. There's no bartender yelling "last call," no neighbor telling everybody to shut the hell up, no friend pulling you aside saying, "All right, buddy, maybe you should log off for the night." The algorithm wants the chaos to continue forever. That's why communities around channels like Big Bad Berlinetta start feeling less like audiences and more like digital housing developments built entirely from nicotine, paranoia, and emotional dependency. Everybody knows everybody's business. Everybody's watching everybody. Everybody's taking screenshots. One person changes their username and suddenly the whole live stream reacts like a Cold War intelligence agency discovering enemy movement. And the longer people stay inside these communities, the more reality starts melting together with performance. That's when things get weird. Because eventually people stop arguing about ideas. Now they're arguing about who betrayed who blocked who's secretly talking behind the scenes, who's real, who's fake, who's loyal, who's a snake, who's clout chasing, and who apparently committed the unforgivable sin of entering somebody else's live stream chat without proper diplomatic clearance. And somehow all of this becomes dead serious. You got grown adults sitting in dimly lit rooms at 2 in the morning with cigarettes burning down to the filter, scream typing, "You don't know the real story." Cupcake. The real story is everybody involved is a loser and needs sunlight. But the internet doesn't reward sunlight. It rewards emotional escalation. That's the genius of the live stream economy. The angrier people get, the longer they stay. The longer they stay, the more ads get played. And eventually the creator themselves becomes trapped inside the machine they built. That's the hidden tragedy underneath channels like Big Bad Berlinetta. The audience thinks they're watching entertainment, but what they're really watching is a permanent digital neighborhood argument that can never actually end. Because if peace ever broke out, the content disappears. No chaos, no live stream, no drama, no engagement, no emotional deterioration, no algorithm boost. So the machine keeps feeding itself. And over time, the creator stops being a human being with a private life. Now they're just a live stream personality, a reaction source, a walking controversy generator, a 24-hour emotional vending machine for strangers online. That's the dark side of internet fame nobody talks about. The audience starts expecting access to everything. Your moods, your breakdowns, your relationships, your paranoia, your addictions, your arguments, your humiliations. Privacy becomes suspicious. If a creator disappears for 2 days, the audience panics like a missing persons case just opened. Where'd she go? What happened? Is she all right? Did somebody betray her? Is there drama? Because modern internet culture doesn't know how to process silence anymore, everything has to become content. And communities like this begin operating almost like digital soap operas written by sleep deprivation and nicotine poisoning. That's why so many live stream ecosystems eventually collapse under their own emotional weight. Nobody's grounded anymore. The audience enables the behavior. The creator depends on the audience. The drama fuels the views fuel the identity, and around it goes until the line between performance and psychological deterioration completely disappears. That's the real story behind the internet trailer park. It ain't about one creator. It's about an internet culture so addicted to spectacle that it transformed ordinary human dysfunction into a nightly entertainment package with live chat enabled. And honestly, that might be the most American thing ever created. The audience becomes the machine. At first, people think they're just watching a live stream. That's the lie. Because eventually the audience stops behaving like viewers and starts behaving like participants. That's the turning point where internet culture gets dark. Especially inside ecosystems like Big Bad Berlinetta's internet trailer park. The viewers don't just consume the chaos anymore. They help manufacture it. Every insult gets amplified, every feud gets encouraged, every emotional spiral gets rewarded with attention, donations, screenshots, reaction videos, and late-night chat room autopsies conducted by people who should absolutely be asleep. And the algorithm loves it. Because modern social media platforms discovered something terrifying. Human conflict is infinitely more profitable than human happiness. Peaceful people don't trend. Functional adults don't generate clip channels. Nobody uploads, "Watch this emotionally stable person handle disagreement maturely." No, the internet wants spectacle. The louder the breakdown, the stronger the engagement. That's why live stream culture slowly transforms audiences into emotional gamblers. They stop asking, "Is this healthy?" Now they ask, "What's gonna happen tonight? Will somebody snap? Will there be another betrayal? Another screaming match? Another drunken rant? Another public humiliation? Another meltdown triggered by absolutely nothing at all?" The audience starts showing up for chaos the same way people used to show up for wrestling matches. Except now the blood pressure's real. And somewhere inside all this, the creator becomes trapped in an impossible situation. Because once the audience gets addicted to the drama, you can't suddenly become normal again. Imagine building an audience entirely around emotional volatility, then trying to become peaceful. The audience doesn't want peace. Peace kills the narrative. That's why internet communities like this often feel emotionally radioactive. Everybody's permanently escalated. Nobody cools off. Nobody lets anything go. A minor disagreement becomes a 6-week internet war involving reaction streams, sub-tweets, community posts, private screenshots, receipts, expose videos, and emotionally exhausted moderators trying to stop 50-year-old adults from behaving like raccoons fighting behind a Waffle House dumpster. And the craziest part? Most of the people involved genuinely believe this matters. That's what prolonged internet exposure does to the brain. It shrinks reality. The live stream becomes the world. The chat room becomes society. The moderators become law enforcement. And the creator becomes less like a human being and more like the mayor of a tiny, collapsing digital trailer park where everybody's addicted to outrage and nobody remembers how to leave. That's why channels like Big Bad Berlinetta feel so psychologically fascinating. Not because they're uniquely evil, but because they perfectly represent what the internet rewards now. Constant access, constant exposure, constant conflict. Modern audiences don't just want to watch creators anymore. They want to own emotional shares in their lives. That's why viewers start acting personally betrayed when creators change, disappear, improve themselves, stop streaming, get sober, leave drama, or simply try to become normal human beings again. Because the audience wasn't attached to the person. They were attached to the spectacle. And once spectacle becomes your business model, the machine never stops demanding more. More drama, more anger, more exposure, more humiliation, more collapse. Until eventually the creator's real identity disappears completely underneath the performance. That's the darkest part of the internet trailer park. The audience thinks they're watching somebody else fall apart. Meanwhile, they've become part of the machine causing it. The internet never lets people leave. The old world had exits. That's what made it survivable. You got into an argument at a bar. Eventually, the place closed. You embarrassed yourself at a party. Most people forgot by Tuesday. You had a rough patch emotionally. You disappeared for a while, regrouped, came back different. But the internet? The internet never closes. And livestream culture made that problem infinitely worse. Because once somebody builds an online identity around chaos, conflict, emotional exposure, and constant access, logging off becomes almost impossible. That's the hidden prison underneath channels like Big Bad Berlinetta. The audience starts expecting permanent availability, permanent emotion, permanent performance. They don't want to see a creator once a week anymore. They want to monitor them continuously, like digital wildlife researchers studying a raccoon with anger issues and a webcam. That's why so many livestream creators eventually look exhausted. Not physically, spiritually. Because there's no separation anymore between public life, private life, performance, personality, entertainment, and emotional survival. Everything blends together into one endless livestream blur. That's why the internet trailer park feels so eerie sometimes. You're not really watching content anymore. You're watching people slowly merge with their online persona in real time. And the audience accidentally encourages it every step of the way. Especially not while emotionally vulnerable, isolated, angry, addicted to attention, and surrounded by audiences that reward escalation more than recovery. And the worst part? Deep down, a lot of creators probably know this. But once your audience becomes your social structure, how do you leave? How do you walk away from the only place people pay attention to you? That's why livestream culture can feel so haunting. Everybody's terrified of silence, terrified of irrelevance, terrified that once the webcam turns off, nobody'll care anymore. So the stream keeps rolling. The cigarettes keep burning. The arguments keep escalating. And somewhere in America, another glowing porch light flickers on in the darkness while strangers gather around digital chaos pretending it's community. That's the internet trailer park. And the saddest part? Most people inside it don't even realize they live there anymore. Because attention becomes oxygen, the live stream starts replacing friendship, routine, purpose, structure, and eventually reality itself. That's why creators trapped in this ecosystem start treating internet disagreements like organized crime indictments. To outsiders, it looks ridiculous. But inside the ecosystem, it feels life or death. Because the creator's emotional identity, financial survival, social interaction, and self-worth all became fused together inside the same glowing screen. And when that happens, every criticism feels catastrophic. Every betrayal feels nuclear. Every rumor feels apocalyptic. That's why these communities become so emotionally combustible. Nobody's grounded in reality anymore. They're grounded in engagement. And engagement rewards instability. Think about how insane modern internet culture became. A creator can improve their mental health, leave toxic drama, start behaving calmly, focus on real life, or simply stop live streaming constantly, and people accuse them of changing. Like personal growth is some kind of betrayal. Because audiences addicted to spectacle don't want healing. Healing ends the show. That's the horrifying part. The internet accidentally built an economy where emotional damage often performs better than emotional stability. That's why some live stream ecosystems feel like casinos for psychological deterioration. The audience keeps pulling the lever, hoping tonight's stream finally explodes into another meltdown. And when it does, the clips spread instantly. Reaction channels appear. Commentary videos multiply like cockroaches under fluorescent light. Everybody eats. Except usually the actual human being at the center of it all. That person slowly disappears underneath the weight of constant visibility. That's the true horror behind the internet trailer park. Not evil, exposure, permanent exposure. Because human beings were never designed to live publicly 24 hours a day. The collapse of shame. There was a time in America when people hid embarrassment. That's important. People used to protect their dignity like it actually mattered. You got too drunk at a party. You prayed nobody remembered. You had a public meltdown? You disappeared for a week. You got caught acting ridiculous? Your family roasted you at Thanksgiving until your soul left your body. Shame used to function like an emergency brake for human behavior. Then social media happened. And somehow the internet convinced people that public humiliation was a personality trait. Now entire online ecosystems are built around oversharing things previous generations would have taken to the grave. Arguments, breakdowns, relationship drama, financial disasters, paranoia, meltdowns, addictions, public screaming matches conducted through webcams while somebody's smoke detector chirps in the background like a dying robot begging for mercy. And instead of people saying, "Jesus Christ, maybe I should step away from the internet," losers like this, they hit go live again the next night. That's the world channels like Big Bad Berlinetta exist inside, a world where dignity became optional. And the internet rewards that behavior constantly, because shame slows engagement. Shame makes people pause before uploading. Shame prevents live streams titled, "Everybody Betrayed Me Part 14. But modern internet culture doesn't want restraint. It wants escalation. That's why the internet trailer park feels so psychologically strange. Everybody's emotionally naked all the time. The audience knows who's fighting, who's broke, who relapsed, who's sleeping with who got blocked, who's fake, and who apparently committed digital treason by appearing in somebody else's chat room. Information that should absolutely remain private becomes public entertainment within minutes, and the audience devours it. Not because it's meaningful, because it's available. That's the sickness underneath modern live stream culture. The line between human experience and entertainment completely disappeared. That's why creators start losing perspective. When every emotional moment gets turned into content, eventually you stop processing emotions naturally. Now you perform them. Anger becomes performance. Sadness becomes performance. Conflict becomes performance. Even vulnerability becomes performance. That's why so many live stream ecosystems feel emotionally exhausting. Nobody's actually resolving anything. They're broadcasting unresolved emotion for an audience addicted to spectacle. And once shame disappears from the equation, there's no limit anymore. That's when the internet starts mutating into something genuinely dystopian. Because human beings need boundaries. We need private moments. We need quiet. We need time away from public judgment. But live stream culture destroyed that completely. Now people process divorce through live streams. Friendship collapse through live streams. Mental breakdowns through live streams. Half the internet acts like therapy should happen publicly between super chat donations and cigarette breaks. And somehow the audience normalized all of it. That's why channels like Big Bad Berlinetta feel less like traditional entertainment and more like watching America psychologically unravel through a webcam, one nicotine cloud at a time. The old world had embarrassment. The internet replaced embarrassment with engagement. And once engagement becomes more valuable than dignity, the internet trailer park becomes permanent. Because nobody leaves anymore, they just keep streaming deeper into the chaos while strangers in chat type, "This is better than Netflix." Which honestly might be the most depressing sentence ever created by modern civilization. The audience stops watching and starts feeding. At first, the audience thinks they're just watching internet drama. That's the illusion. Because eventually something changes. The viewers stop behaving like spectators and start behaving like people feeding wild animals in a national park, despite every warning sign screaming, "Please do not encourage the behavior." That's the real ecosystem behind channels like Big Bad Berlinetta. The chaos survives because the audience keeps feeding it attention. Every meltdown gets clipped. Every argument gets reposted. Every paranoid rant gets analyzed like the Zapruder film by 47 people named Rick, sitting in dimly lit kitchens drinking gas station coffee at 1 in the morning. And the internet rewards all of it. That's the dangerous part. The platforms themselves figured out that outrage holds attention longer than happiness ever could. You know what doesn't trend? A balanced human being having a peaceful afternoon. Nobody uploads. Watch this person handle their emotions responsibly. No. The internet wants screaming. The internet wants instability. The internet wants a live stream where somebody's blood pressure looks medically historic while the audience types, "Oh, here we go." That's why live stream communities start feeling less like fan bases and more like emotional fight clubs. Everybody's waiting for impact, waiting for betrayal, waiting for somebody to snap. And the audience starts unconsciously encouraging it. Not because they're evil. Because modern internet culture trained people to consume emotional collapse like entertainment. That's why creators trapped inside these ecosystems slowly stop behaving like normal human beings. They begin anticipating conflict constantly. Every stream becomes, "What disaster happens tonight?" And once that expectation sets in, peace becomes impossible. Because the audience doesn't really want calm. Calm kills engagement. That's why creators who try improving themselves often lose viewers. The audience says they want growth, but the numbers spike during chaos. That's the hidden sickness underneath the internet trailer park. The viewers become emotionally invested in dysfunction itself. A creator disappears for a few days, people panic. A creator avoids drama, people accuse them of falling off. A creator starts acting healthy, the audience gets bored. Think about how insane that is. The internet accidentally created an environment where emotional instability became part of the entertainment package. And channels like Big Bad Berlinetta become trapped in that cycle permanently. Because once the audience gets addicted to your chaos, you can't suddenly become peaceful without breaking the illusion. That's why these live stream ecosystems feel so emotionally exhausting. Nobody's resolving anything. Nobody's healing. Everybody's just feeding emotional energy into the machine, hoping tonight's stream becomes the next disaster people talk about tomorrow. And eventually the audience stops recognizing the creator as a real human being entirely. Now they're just content, drama, clips, reaction material, a live stream character permanently trapped inside a digital cage built by attention. That's the darkest transformation inside the internet trailer park. The viewers think they're watching the chaos, but the truth is they're helping keep it alive. The collapse of real identity. The internet used to be something people visited. Now it's where people live. That's the final stage of the internet trailer park. The moment the online persona becomes more real than the actual human being underneath it. And once that happens, everything starts collapsing. Because live stream culture doesn't just reward attention anymore. It rewards caricatures, exaggeration, performance, escalation. The creator slowly learns that the louder version of themselves performs better than the real version. So the personality starts mutating. The anger gets amplified. The attitude gets exaggerated. The paranoia gets monetized. The drama becomes theatrical. The live stream persona starts swallowing the actual human being alive. That's why channels like Big Bad Berlinetta feel so psychologically strange sometimes. You're not always watching a person anymore. You're watching a permanent online character built from internet conflict, sleep deprivation, attention addiction, cigarettes, resentment, and years of performing emotional intensity for strangers online. And eventually, the creator themselves forgets where the performance ends. That's the real danger of constant live streaming. No separation. No reset. No private space where somebody can just exist quietly without an audience evaluating every emotion, like sports commentators reviewing game footage. That's why internet personalities often start talking like they're trapped inside permanent warfare. Every disagreement becomes betrayal. Every criticism becomes an attack. Every live stream becomes a battlefield. Because once your identity becomes fused to audience engagement, everything feels existential. That's what audiences don't understand. The creator isn't always protecting their opinion. Sometimes they're protecting the character itself. Because if the character dies, the attention dies too. And attention becomes survival. That's why creators trapped inside these ecosystems start behaving like people emotionally handcuffed to their own audience. The viewers demand consistency. Consistency of attitude, consistency of outrage, consistency of personality. If the creator suddenly acts calm, the audience notices immediately. If they become reflective, people accuse them of changing. If they stop participating in chaos, the audience panics like a sitcom just killed off its main character. That's how distorted internet relationships became. The viewers don't always want the real person. They want the version they subscribe to. The loud version, the unstable version, the entertaining version. And once creators realize that, they start feeding the character constantly, even when it destroys them privately. That's why so many live stream personalities eventually seem emotionally hollow. Because maintaining a performance 24 hours a day drains the soul out of people. Especially when the internet rewards your worst impulses more than your healthiest ones. That's the hidden tragedy underneath the internet trailer park. People enter these spaces looking for connection and accidentally lose themselves completely. The webcam becomes the mirror. The audience becomes the validation. The live stream becomes reality. The internet never logs off. There was a time when people could disappear. That's important. You could have a bad week, make mistakes, embarrass yourself, fall apart privately, and eventually the world moved on. But the internet changed memory forever. Now everything lingers. Every live stream, every rant, every argument, every meltdown, every humiliating late-night emotional explosion uploaded at 2:45 a.m. while somebody's smoke detector chirps like it's begging for death. Nothing disappears anymore. And channels like Big Bad Berlinetta exist inside that permanent digital archive of chaos. That's what makes the internet trailer park feel so claustrophobic. There's no escape from the performance. Because the audience never truly leaves. The clips stay up, the screenshots stay up, the rumors stay up, the reaction channels stay up. Even silence becomes suspicious. A creator disappears for 2 days and suddenly the audience starts acting like amateur homicide detectives. Did something happen? Who turned on who? Is there drama? Who's hiding something? Because the internet trained people to expect permanent access to other human beings. That's the real psychological shift nobody fully talks about. The audience no longer experiences creators as entertainers. Now they experience them as infrastructure, part of their daily routine, like television used to be, like radio used to be. Only now it's personal, far too personal. That's why live stream culture feels emotionally invasive in a way older media never did. People don't just consume the content. They start feeling entitled to the creator's existence, their moods, their schedule, their emotional state, their relationships, their breakdowns. Everything becomes public property once the webcam turns on long enough. And eventually, creators start internalizing that pressure constantly. That's why so many live stream personalities look emotionally exhausted all the time. Because they're never fully off. Even when they're not streaming, they're anticipating the next stream, thinking about the next conflict, the next drama, the next reaction, the next comment section war. That's the hidden cost of internet visibility. The audience sees entertainment. The creator experiences permanent psychological surveillance. And the longer somebody lives inside that ecosystem, the harder it becomes to remember who they were before the internet character existed. That's why channels like Big Bad Berlinetta can feel almost dystopian sometimes. The live stream becomes less like a show and more like a life support machine, powered by nicotine, outrage, loneliness, and audience dependency. And everybody inside the ecosystem keeps pretending this is normal. Fat, obese, middle-aged, white trailer trash female Berlinetta. That's the craziest part. Modern internet culture normalized things previous generations would have found deeply disturbing. Imagine explaining live stream culture to somebody from 1987. Yeah, there's this woman who broadcasts her emotional breakdowns nightly while strangers argue in chat and donate $5 to encourage more chaos. That person would stare at you like you escaped from a government experiment. But now, that's just Tuesday on the internet. Because somewhere along the line between performance and existence completely collapsed. And once that happened, the internet trailer park became permanent. No closing time, no silence, no reset button. Just endless glowing screens lighting up dark rooms across America, while emotionally exhausted people keep talking because they're terrified nobody'll care once the stream finally ends. And maybe that's the darkest realization in this whole documentary. Underneath all the sarcasm, all the drama, all the cigarettes, all the internet warfare, most people inside these ecosystems are just terrified of disappearing. So they keep streaming. And the internet keeps watching. Forever. The Internet Trailer Park. At the beginning of this documentary, it was easy to laugh. The cigarettes, the screaming, the chaos. The endless live stream wars conducted by emotionally exhausted people sitting in dimly lit rooms arguing with usernames like world-famous Chomo Charlie D and Hellbilly Im Amomo 69. And honestly, some of it is funny. The internet became such a ridiculous psychological circus that sometimes laughter's the only sane reaction left. But underneath the comedy, there's something genuinely unsettling happening here. Because the Internet Trailer Park isn't really about one creator. It's about a civilization slowly replacing real community with performance. That's the deeper tragedy behind channels like Big Bad Berlinetta. Years ago, people had neighborhoods. Now they got live stream chats. People had front porches. Now they got comment sections. People had actual conversations. Now they got algorithmic outrage loops designed to keep emotionally unstable people engaged for maximum advertising revenue. And somewhere along the line, human beings stopped living privately. Now everything's public. Every emotion, every argument, every insecurity, every breakdown. The webcam replaced the front door. And once that happened, the audience moved in permanently. That's why these ecosystems feel so emotionally claustrophobic. Nobody's ever really alone anymore, but somehow everybody feels more isolated than ever. That's the contradiction at the center of modern internet culture: infinite connection, zero peace. And channels like Big Bad Berlinetta became perfect symbols of that reality. Not because they're uniquely evil, not because they invented the problem. Because they embody what the internet rewards now: constant access, constant drama, constant exposure, constant emotional escalation. The algorithm doesn't care if people are healthy. It cares if people are watching. That's why outrage spreads faster than intelligence. Humiliation spreads faster than dignity. Conflict spreads faster than creativity. And over time, people stop recognizing dysfunction because dysfunction becomes the atmosphere itself. That's why the internet trailer park feels less like a website and more like a permanent psychological weather system hovering over modern America. Everybody's angry, everybody's exhausted, everybody's broadcasting, everybody's watching somebody else fall apart while quietly falling apart themselves. And maybe that's the darkest realization in this whole documentary. The audience laughs at the chaos because laughing feels safer than admitting how familiar it all actually is. Because deep down, most people understand exactly why these live stream ecosystems exist. Loneliness, that's the real engine underneath all of it. Lonely creators, lonely audiences, lonely people gathering around glowing screens at 2 in the morning searching for noise because silence started feeling unbearable years ago. The internet promised humanity connection. Instead, it built a digital trailer park where everybody's emotionally available 24 hours a day, and nobody remembers how to leave, and the porch lights never turn off. If you enjoyed today's descent into nicotine, paranoia, emotional support live streams, and the last functioning digital trailer park left in America, and the loser ecosystem, hit the like button, subscribe, and join the Pizzaverse social club. Because around here, we don't just watch internet culture. We autopsy it. We examine live stream insanity, internet mythology, digital cult behavior, organized chaos, online ego wars, psychological collapse, modern American weirdness, and whatever other beautiful disasters the algorithm drags out of the swamp next. And honestly, at this point, the internet's become less of a communication tool and more of a 24-hour psychological carnival run by sleep deprivation, nicotine addiction, and people screaming, "You don't know the real story." Special thanks to everybody supporting the documentaries, the streams, the late-night broadcasts, and the growing army of emotionally exhausted internet archaeologists helping preserve this beautiful digital landfill for future generations. Because one day historians are going to study this era and say, wait, people voluntarily watched strangers fight on live streams for 6 hours while eating cold mozzarella sticks and arguing about moderators. Yes. Yes, they did. And somehow it became a global economy. Also, special thanks to the lurkers, the night shift workers, the people watching this from parked cars, the emotionally damaged philosophers chain-smoking on apartment balconies, and every poor bastard currently staring into the glow of a phone screen, wondering how humanity got this weird. You are seen, you are loved, and you probably need sleep. Remember, the internet never sleeps, the algorithm never forgives, and live stream drama is legally one energy drink away from becoming a recognized combat sport. This has been Analyzing Evil, Big Bad Berlinetta, the Internet Trailer Park. Take care of yourselves. Touch grass occasionally. And Berlinetta, I had to give you a main to destroy it. And we'll see you at the next disaster.
In a world where lies spread faster than Wi-Fi, where screenshots are cropped, stories are twisted, and everybody's suddenly an expert, one man said, "Nah, I ain't buying it." Introducing the Exposer, the only device powerful enough to detect lies before they even finish typing. Watch as the Exposer scans suspicious posts, fake personas, e corsentimagmin despun. Trust me, bro stories. Feature breakdown. With patented technology like bullshit radar. Automatically detects exaggeration, fake flexing, emotional manipulation. Warning, cap detected. Narrative breaker. Cuts through half-truths. Deflection. Der Radio Warschurporn Naturebitscherin. Harinor. Playing the victim energy. Nice try, but we see you. Receipt recovery mode. Finds old posts. Concerminor. Contradictions. Deleted comments. Even the ones they thought were gone. And now, expose mode. With one click, boom, the truth gets dropped publicly. Side effects may include sudden silence, panic deleting, "You're obsessed with me" responses, and full-blown internet meltdowns. Bonus feature. Order now and get accountability upgrade free. Because around here, we don't just talk. We back it up. The exposer. If it smells funny, it probably is. Available now on YouTube Ikarasati, comment section. And that one friend who always notices everything?
How'd that cross necklace get over your horns? You know the saying, I bet you be sweating like a whore in church. Spending too much time, try to hide behind the Bible. Get in front of it, find out that Jesus was a foreigner. Virgin Mary, you would've deported her. Not before your husband found out she was a minor, he'd have ordered her. Him and his buddies would've recorded her, transported her, extorted her, and then sent her to the coroner. You don't get to pray for me. You won't, that's your heart out of this one. I know that your hate runs deep. God is probably tired of getting name dropped by fake Christians. You don't get to pray for me. You won't, that's your heart out of this one. I know that your hate runs deep. God is probably tired of getting name dropped by fake Christians. I'm pretty sure that God's annoyed of racists bringing him up. Sick of you chumps showing up to take a sip of the cup. You called the Aztec savages, but the cup, isn't it blood? Isn't the stuff symbolic? Oh, it's different, huh? Introduction to blood sacrifice. He died so you can commit your crimes. Here's the hoping he come back to life. I can't wait to see the face on every single preacher's wife. All them secrets you've been keeping, tell me how you sleep at night. All them evil things you feeling, don't leave cause you be polite. The deceiving and the thieving ain't concealed as recondite. Only a few people know. And you know why they keep it tight. You don't get to pray for me. You won't, that's your heart out of this one. I know that your hate runs deep. God is probably tired of getting name dropped by fake Christians. You don't get to pray for me. You won't, that's your heart out of this one. I know that your hate runs deep. God is probably tired of getting name dropped by fake Christians. Weaponized all of it, don't know what a proverb is. Cherry picking Bible scripts, oh my God. Arrogance, lying in the Lord names ain't honoring. Pride leading the blind again, oh my God. You must be drunk off the blood of Christ. Or maybe you just back hitting the hooch again. Or back to cosplaying a hooligan. The grip, the cross, to get the dollars like what? Now you forgot where you and your hoochie been? You don't get to pray for me. You won't, that's your heart out of this one. I know that your hate runs deep. God is probably tired of getting name dropped by fake Christians. You don't get to pray for me. You won't, that's your heart out of this one. I know that your hate runs deep. God is probably tired of getting name dropped by fake Christians.